Yo, 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 welcome back to another episode of Between the Numbers Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Daryl. And, on this episode, we're going to be talking about the college football weekend, and we're going to be doing just a little bit of a recap. So let's get right on into it. So starting off with, you know, my squad behind me, LSU. They won a very close game. Wasn't expecting it to be that close, but it is a rivalry game. The battle of the Golden Boot and Arkansas played us really hard, but um, I thought the score was going to be somewhere around like 28-17, but it was way closer than that. LSU had to hope for a prayer just to win the game, and not to even sugarcoat anything, it's because our defense is terrible. Thank God for the offense because the defense had no impact, no idea. They was very undisciplined and terrible. And Brian Kelly got to find a better defensive coordinator in the offseason. And that defensive coordinator better hire some better defensive assistants because the defense is trash, right? The DBs are terrible. Um, I don't know what's going on with Mason Smith. I know he was out last year and he's probably trying to play himself into shape. But damn, man, if it's not for like Trey Ringo, then I don't know what the hell we're gonna do on that defensive line. Um, they're continuing to play Harold Perkins out of position, right? He should be lining up on the line of scrimmage, uh, you know, coming off the edge, and he's not. He's playing in the middle of the field. He's in coverage. He's everywhere besides rushing the quarterback. We saw when he did rush the quarterback that he was very impactful, but they line him up on the line, let him rush, and then they put him back in the middle of the field or put him in coverage. So I don't know what the hell is going on. Deuce Chestnut he looks about what you would expect a cornerback from Syracuse to look like. We got him out of the transfer portal. And Major Burns, he's upholding his last name. The kid is always getting burnt. He got burned versus Florida State, and he got burned versus Arkansas, right? Too many blown coverages, right? Just blown coverages after blown coverages, bonehead plays, roughing the passer. This defense is not disciplined at all, and they were terrible. F minus for the defense. JD5, Jaden Daniels, right? He had some early adversity, but he finally got comfortable and he found Brian Thomas Jr. for two big strikes, right? I'm happy for Brian Thomas Jr. This is his year to break out. He needs to break out, and so far he's been playing fantastic. And I'm pretty sure he is, elevating his draft stock for the NFL. But you know, him and Jaden Daniels got on the same page, and then Malik Neighbors was like, "Yo, what about me?" You know what I mean? So Malik Neighbors had two big touchdowns. Jaden Daniels had four passing touchdowns. I'm not quite sure how many yards he had passing. I don't have the box score in front of me, but all in all, it was a good night for the offense. A plus for the offense, F minus for the defense. Um, like I said, the defense better figure it out because they got to play Ole Miss at Ole Miss next week, and Lane Kiffin will be looking to get some get back from losing to LSU last year, and also they took the L to Alabama, and Ole Miss is not trying to drop two straight, so LSU better figure it out on the defensive side of the ball. Now, whenever I was a kid, my mom used to always say, "Be a leader, don't be a follower." She used to say, "If you see one person jumping off a bridge, does that mean you have to jump off the bridge?" And so pretty much what she was saying was, don't do what everyone else is doing. So, you know, with the whole Colorado thing and all of the hype that's surrounding the program, yesterday on social media, some people said that, hey, if you are a black person and you are rooting against Deion Sanders, then you are, pretty much wrong, or you're not for your own people. And that is the most stupidest shit I ever heard because I'm a black person and I don't root for Buffalo. I don't root for Deion Sanders. And it's not because I have anything against Deion Sanders. I can admire the fact that he's a father. He came from Jackson State. He brought both of his sons with him to Colorado. They're winning up until yesterday, and he's coaching both of his sons. One of his sons will be a first round draft pick at quarterback, if not the number one draft pick at quarterback. But I don't root for Colorado. And it's not because I don't like Deion Sanders. It's not because I don't like my own people. It's just because they're just overhyped. And when you constantly get shoved Colorado content down your throat, you you get turned off to it, right? For instance, if you go into the Bleacher Report app, right, and you click on the college football section, the first thing that's probably going to pop up is probably going to be something about Colorado. Then you have to see all of the commercials, the Aflac commercials, the Wendy's commercials, the not Wendy's, KFC commercials, right? You have to see all of that stuff. It's like we get hourly updates about what Deion Sanders and one of the players from Colorado is doing, and people are just sick of it. Now, in the offseason, they did pick them to win about 3 games. They're 3-1. I do believe that they're going to win 6+ games and go to a bowl. But you know, they're going to get to 6 wins just in an ugly fashion. They got USC next week, and if USC comes out playing like USC, then it's gonna be bad. It's gonna get bloody. It's gonna be really bad for Deion Sanders and the that Buffalo team if you know USC comes out and plays like USC can play. They got Caleb Williams, arguably the best quarterback in the country, and they have Lincoln Riley as a head coach. So we have to see. Colorado is not with Travis Hunter, right? He got hurt from what some people said was a dirty hit, and he's out for a couple of more weeks. And he is their best defensive player, and he's probably their uh, second best player on offense, right? He's a two-way player, a two-way stud, and he's not there. So we have to see. We have to see what Coach Prime and this Colorado team is going to do versus USC. But just because I'm a black man and just because other black people who are sports fans was, sharing memes and making fun of Colorado getting absolutely destroyed does not mean we do not like our own people. And it does not mean that we hate Deion Sanders. We just say, you know, we're just tired of all of the hype. That's it. Keep it sports related. Let's not make it about race or anything else personal off the field. Let's just keep it sports related. Now, um, Notre Dame went against Ohio State yesterday, right? And I think that probably was the game of the week or the game of the night. I think everyone was tuned in to watch that Ohio State um, Notre Dame game. And Notre Dame had Ohio State on the ropes yesterday. I was on social media. I was on Twitter or X. I was on Facebook, and I got a lot of friends who are Ohio State fans, and those people was losing their mind. One of my buddies was saying fire Ron Day. I seen somebody else saying they didn't need to fire the defensive coordinator, and Ohio State fans is freaking out. But in typical Notre Dame fashion, right? Whether it was Brian Kelly or now Marcus Freeman, they cannot win the big game. They just cannot win the big game. Notre Dame is the Dallas Cowboys in green. That's it. They just get all of the hype from what they used to do, from the national championships that they won in the past, but they haven't won anything in forever. Their college football playoff record is crap. And I know it was Brian Kelly that was coaching that team, but it's still Notre Dame. It's just what Notre Dame does. It doesn't matter the coach. It doesn't matter if it's Brian Kelly or Marcus Freeman. They just can't win a big game. They can't. They had Ohio State on the ropes. They had the fans ready to go run in traffic, and then they just let Ohio State win with a walk-off score to end the game. It's just what Notre Dame does. But every year, they get very favorable rankings, right? Every year. And it's because college football, the college football world is just in love with what Notre Dame used to be. But that Notre Dame, that's not the that the Notre Dame that used to be is not the same Notre Dame that is here in this day and age. And it doesn't matter. They're just they're just not who they used to be. Now, I do think they're probably going to go to the playoffs, and we all know when they go to the playoffs, they're going to get destroyed like they always do, whether it's versus Alabama or whoever, right? I'm talking about in the past, they've been destroyed, right? So it doesn't matter. But I think they're going to go to the playoffs because the college football world is going to do what it takes to keep Notre Dame relevant, right? And people like Colin Cowherd and Joel Klatt and Kurt Herbstreit, they do everything that they can to pander for Notre Dame to stay relevant. And in return, the powers to be make sure that Notre Dame is relevant. But same old Notre Dame can't win a big game, get overhyped every year, and they let down their fan base every year. Every year they let their fan base down. Complete trash. But that's it. Just wanted to make this episode and do a quick recap of the weekend. Lots of big games. And college football has a competition problem, right? Most weekends, you just I get up, I watch LSU play, and then I don't watch any other games because all of the games are pretty much trash. And actually, right before I go, talking about trash games, Urban Meyer, who I'm not a big fan of at all, but you know, he had something very interesting that he said, and it was the truth. He pretty much was saying that Georgia and Michigan should be ashamed of the schedules that they're playing. Michigan hasn't played anyone, and Georgia hasn't played anyone. Now, be it Georgia has played in closer games, right? Georgia struggled with South Carolina, which is an SEC opponent, and then Georgia struggled versus another team I can't remember, but um, Georgia and Michigan haven't played anyone. And that's why I say college football has a competition problem, right? There's just not a lot of good games on from week in and week out. And yesterday was a very good week because it was a lot of good games that was on, but um, you know, I haven't seen who's coming up next week, but I'm pretty sure there's not a lot of good games next week after this dynamic week of college football. So they got a competition problem. Things are probably going to get better once um, USC and UCLA move over to the Big Ten, and Texas and Oklahoma move to SEC. But until then, it's just going to be that way. It's going to be a lot of Power Five schools playing, you know, cupcake schools, and then the scores are going to be 50-0 by halftime, and you're just going to turn off your TV and just go do something outside or something. So, um, appreciate everyone who liked the videos, who comment, who subscribe. I really appreciate it. Right, we're at 95 subscribers. We're 5 subscribers away from 100. So please consider subscribing to the channel. Leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know about um, what you thought about the games this weekend in the comment section below. I try to get back to all comments. I love interacting with you guys in the comment section. So thank you, and please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. And until next time, I'm out.